Steve kind of started off, and then we'll say something that Linda will let you do the dedication at the very end.
Okay.
But at the funeral, it was a joyous time and a very sad time. And you had asked people to stand up and say something, but we couldn't do it. We're all the Volvo group. We're all together like, I can't say nothing. I can't say nothing in front of this people. So we thought it would be apropos if everybody would keep it short, but a quick memory. And I'm going to pick on Thomas Reed first, because of all the people in the room who are with Kim Rhett, he's the first person who got to know Bill and Bill's girlfriend at that time. They weren't married.
It's safe, Thomas. It's safe.
Yeah, I know.
So if you want a little story on Bill, would be great.
I probably got a lot of stories, but basically what you could say about Bill is you never had to guess about what he was thinking. He was real straightforward. My kind of guy. We kind of hit it off from the first, and he done a whole lot to help me learn things in the Volvo locator and just how things work at the plant. So, very good guy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We will do a toast here shortly.
Okay.
Once Mr. Both gets done with his story and goes out.
Okay.
Technically, Jeff knew Bill before Thomas knew Bill, but Jeff didn't work at Kim Rhett at that time. So,
I worked again as Bill for about 10 years. And yeah, like Thomas said, you knew what he was going to say because he never kept nothing in. He was always very free spoken, and you knew exactly where you stood with Bill. First time I met him, he was wearing yellow breeches and a lime green shirt. And I was like, who is that guy? And they said, look, that guy right there. Listen, everything he says, he'll teach you a lot. So I spent about a year with Bill in my office. And, you know, great guy. Loved him to death. He's a really nice guy.
You want me to go next? This is the easy one. Back in '94, Karen and I decided we were going to build a house, and Bill agreed to help us. So we would leave work, go down there every afternoon, work on the house. And we would say, Bill, what would you like to eat for dinner? Hot dogs. In that process of building that house, we probably ate 10,000 hot dogs. And we quit asking him what he wanted for supper, because he said hot dogs every single day. And then the only other thing that I want to say too is when he first started looking at the place y'all live at now, me and him would go down there and eat lunch. We would take a sandwich down there and eat lunch, and he took me in this old ratty building. He barely had enough room to turn around, and he stood there and he explained what he was going to do. And he did it. And then the tavern, which was just a mess, it was just full of junk. He kept telling them to build a tavern out of this. Bill had vision. He everything he talked about, he saw in his head.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to go back and look at that stuff. I miss him.
I don't know if I have too many stories I can repeat, to be honest. Of course, my first wife and I were neighbors to Bill and Linda when they moved into the house. And, you know, I like doing things around the house, but I remember getting up on Saturday mornings and, you know, just getting some breakfast and everything. And you look out the back window, and here would come this guy in a pair of shorts with a cigarette and a Coors Light in his other hand. And he went at it all day long. And it kind of got to the point, he was making life pretty hard on me. I mean, your wife's looking over there saying, well, why can't you do that? Why can't you? And finally, I just had to start helping him, you know, to stay out of trouble. But there's very few days goes by I don't talk about Bill. Very few days.
I would say a couple of things that stick out in terms of being willing to share. When I first met Bill, I had moved in across the street from where he lived in Radford, and he wasn't very happy at the time with his marriage, and he really was looking to change that situation.
What year was this?
And this was 1993. Yeah, 92, 93. And anyway, I started telling him about what I was planning to do to the little brick house that I bought across the street. Well, all of a sudden, Bill was in on everything about that. He was planning it and, telling me where to get the material and everything. And lo and behold, by the time 6 months passed, I had a brand new deck on the back. The house had been repainted. The kitchen had been remodeled. And Bill was doing it all, having a great time. So anyway, eventually, I moved from there into another house in Radford, and a few years passed, and I decided to move into a townhouse down at the river course. And we're talking about 2001 now, I guess. And it wasn't going to be ready in time, and I had the house sold in Radford. I had to get out of the house in Radford. So I had to go live somewhere else for 4, 5, or 6 weeks. So Bill said, well, come on, you can stay with us. They were in the house. That's how Darren and I became friends. But anyway, I stayed there for about 5 or 6 weeks. And I'm telling you, I've never worked that hard in my life. From the minute the sun came up to the minute the sun went down. We were changing a window or changing a door or doing something in the middle of all that stuff. And, it's just amazing how kind and generous and giving that Bill was, what kind of person that he was. He cared about everybody and everything, and I think he really set a great example for us to remember him by and to live in the future in terms of how he treated people.
Cheers.
Well, Turpin, I like to say one of the last good memories we had was when I was out there boogieing away on the dance floor in Myrtle Beach. And I was getting it too. And I come back and I sit at the table and grab my Bud Light, and he just sits there, comes up to my ear, whispers, "Boy, what the are you listening to? Because it's not the same song I hear." Then he promised me free shag lessons for the rest of my life. And he said he would pay for them if he wasn't giving them to me. But then also, this would have been probably about 10 years ago, needed a Christmas gift for the girlfriend, didn't have any money, high school kid and everything. So I'm like, what can I do? Saw Bill at a football game, sitting there, hey, I'm trying to think of a Christmas gift. All right, come by the house on Saturday. Well, needing to behold, we made a pin. Best Christmas gift I think I've ever given. But one more thing, Bill, let's play one more time. I'm going to say no look, but just to let you know, I always looked. They might have said it was no look, but there's a reason why I won a lot of money. I looked before I saw you. It was always the first dollar bill in my wallet. It was the best one. Well, I got 4 9s, Bill. This one's for you.
I'll shift over here.
I had nothing but good things to think about Bill. I've known Linda for over 45 years, and
She's not. Were you born together?
I'm probably the brother. But we've been around a long time, and when her and Bill started dating, Bill just stepped in, and he was just like family. He'd always been there, and I just think so much of how he treated me and my wife and my children, and I'm like you, Darren. There's no day go by I don't think about him. But I don't know. Everything I've got to say about Bill is really good. But he's a special person, always will be. In my mind, he just was something else. He called my wife darling all the time, and it was just super. I will tell a lighter story on him that I wasn't even a part of, but I just think it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Bill and Linda were having lunch or dinner at Linda's parents', and her dad, Mr. Castle, was the last several years of his life, he was a very straight-laced man, and lay preacher, retired person there at the jail in Carroll County, and he was just a very fine gentleman. And that whole family was very, very well bred. And Bill and Linda, they were all having dinner, and at the table, and a light fixture, just as they were about to eat, a light fixture come crashing down, came loose and crashed right in the middle of the table. And Bill all of a sudden hollers, "Oh, hell!" And you'd have to know Mr. Castle to realize that'd be like saying it in front of the Pope. So, anyway, that was just always a funny story. I enjoyed that story, and I wasn't even there.
Cheer, cheer. Good.
She's gonna put me in this.
I don't have any stories about Bill. He was just always a good guy and helped you out whenever he could.
I got to know Bill. He wasn't my immediate report, or I didn't report to him immediately. I hired into Volvo as hourly, worked for Larry Funk, who worked for Mr. Willis, and in turn worked for Mr. David Hancock. And what I enjoyed the most was when Dave and Bill would get together and express their emotions. It would tickle me to death when Dave would turn his head, Bill would get that grin on his face. And as soon as Dave would turn back to say something else, it'd disappear. And you knew that Bill was just cranking him like a freshwater bait. And I was hourly at the time, so I was in awe of everyone, including Mr. Funk, if you can believe that. But as I got to know him, I learned Dave, he was Dave and Bill was Bill, but I enjoyed that combat.
Oil and water.
Yes. But Bill seemed to always get the better, I'll just say that.
Good.
I only got to meet Mr. Turpin a couple times, and very good guy, and judged by all the stories, and heck of a personality.
I met Bill, it was a little awkward on the dock there at Cameron. I'd just come in, and Bill would slip in the back door when he was looking for a part or something. He's out there smoking a cigarette on the docks.
Oh.
And I'd go, I didn't know who he was. I went out there and said, "So you need to go back to your truck. You can't smoke it." He'd just laugh, cut up, he'd leave, he'd come back later, he's out there doing it again. And so I finally told Steve, "I can't get this guy to." He told me who he was. I said, "It's okay if he wants to smoke." I'm good. And as I got to know Bill, he helped me out some. I was sort of new in the warehouse business. And then got to play a few rounds of golf with him. And it's a different level of golf. I mean, he enjoyed it. It's not like he was trying to see how good you could play.
But
No, he wasn't good at it. And it made me think maybe I'm all right, you know, here.
Were you in the golf cart with the window he smashed out with the golf ball?
No, I heard about it. But then another time, I found out, now I saw these guys shag dance somewhere. I don't know if it was at Whistler, one of those things, but anyway, saw them shag dancing. My wife and I thought we could shag dance until we saw them. And so he just tried his darndest to get us to come to run up to the shag club there. And we'd say, "Yeah, we'll think about doing that." And I'll tell my wife, "I'm not going anywhere near where he is." But, you know, with Bill, though, when you have bad days, you could call him. And he'd just laugh and cutting up. That laugh, just contagious. And just made you feel better. So what you try to do is you have a bad day, just find Bill. Let's talk to Bill about something. And that's what I remember about Bill right there.
Gosh, there's so many stories. Actually, the first time I met Bill Turpin, I was driving a truck for Yellow Freight when the Volvo strike. And Jiminy Cricket's 91, 92. And he was on the dock, and it took me forever to back that damn trailer in. I got in, he started just ribbing my ass, and I'm like, "You don't understand. I'm a terminal manager. I crossed your picket line to get you unload my damn truck." And he and I became good friends. Believe it or not, before Camrette was Camrette, we were friends from Bob Nixon and him and Donna and all those. But Linda and Bill have been special. They helped raise the kids. They did how you do things. If you want something, you see it, you fix it, you make it happen. We started in 1997. We were awarded a contract from Volvo. on January 29th. You will open on the 7th of February. We did not have the facility secured. We did not have the facility cleaned. We did not have it wrapped. We didn't have people hired. We had 9 days. Bill and Linda work all day, came, worked till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, go back to work the next day. We did it for 9 days, opened up and never missed a beat. And during that time, I didn't do the work that they did because I'm sitting there trying to hire people. Who's going to do this stuff? How are we going to do what we're going to do? And it just came together. We've been friends. The whole Volvo family has been friends. And Bill and I, to this day, never had an argument. Nor did we disagree on a lot of things, because he called a spade, and I'd agree. So,
I had enough arguments with him to make up for not having any. One thing Bill Turpin was politically correct. And in the Volvo way of doing things, he kind of sort of had to be. I met Bill in July of 1985 as a planner. I got to go out because I had an easy desk and spent about half the week on the floor. Bill was in 80 paint. If y'all, the Volvo guys, will know what 80 paint was. And he had his desk right there as they're hanging parts to go in the paint shop. Well, it's a highly flammable area. And Bill's sitting there doing this the whole time. But I walked up and introduced myself, and he just looked at me. Yeah, I know who you are. And I'm like, well, he's going to be an ass. And he had a picture of a young lady on his bulletin board. And I said, wow, she's cute. Come to find out that it was Natalie. And he just looked at me, never cracked a grin, still smoking a cigarette. And he said, yes, sir, that's my daughter. And you just stay the hell away from her. One of the other things that he used to get me in trouble a lot. In John O'Connor's department, there could only be one person off at a given time. Bill was always one of those that would get his vacation request in beforehand. So the golf tournament came up, and I'm sitting there because I know Turpin had already gotten his in, and O'Connor had signed it. I was like, man, I can't go.
Good, how are you doing?
So the next thing I know, he said, sign this. So I signed the vacation request. And even though he wasn't my boss at the time, he signed it as my boss. So we went and played golf. We were gone about 3 days. And O'Connor used to have an 8 o'clock meeting. And when 2 of us didn't show up for 3 days, when we came back, he excused everyone but us 2. And he said, just where in the hell have y'all been? Oh, we went and played golf. He said, y'all know the rules. There's only one of y'all can be gone at a time. Who signed your golf? Who signed your passes? And I pointed at him, and he pointed at me. And he said, y'all just get the hell out of here. But when it comes to warehousing, he taught me everything I know. I feel like I was that tall learning from him. But the warehouses that you guys have were his vision. When it started, there wasn't anything on paper. He drew it up on an engineering pad. So the guy's got vision, and I miss him a lot.
Not a day goes by. So,
And can I say something?
oh, yes.
So it's very hard for me to talk about Bill because Bill gave me confidence to do a lot of things. And one of the things that he did pretty early on was when my girls were moving, one to law school, one somewhere else, and he actually borrowed one of your trucks, and we were talking about moving her, and Bean couldn't go, and he goes, well, we'll go, Susan. We'll go. Me and you, we'll move her. So that was one of the first trips I had made driving to D.C., and they lost me somewhere on 29, and I had to get them to, to wait on me, and so he taught me how to pack a truck. He taught me how you load and set things back up, and, he would tell me, and my girls, our girls dearly, dearly love him, and if there was something that somebody's light blew out. They couldn't. Oh, there was a time Molly had fire alarms going everywhere, and we couldn't figure out. Well, Mama, call Bill. And so, he taught Molly how to do a back dive. I don't know if any of you ever saw him dive, but he was going to determine that she would learn how to do that. He drove them in the homecoming parade, in the homecoming at high school. Yeah, I'll drive. And, he drove them in that green Mustang convertible that he had. And, he told me, he said, Susan, I'll ride anywhere with you. And I just miss that. We would talk about him selling the things he made to the people I work with, and I called and he'd say, yeah, come on, or yeah, I'll bring it down there to you. And I just miss those things. And, he treated us certainly like he was our family, and he loved our girls more than anything. And we just miss him. And, the last few days were hard, and I remember the last day that I got to talk to him, and he goes, I love you, Susan. And he said again, I'd ride anywhere with you, wouldn't matter. So he's just a special person, and he made Linda the happiest that she's ever been, and we'll be forever grateful for that. And he loved all of you all, even though we haven't known you. We knew about you. And,
Don't believe a word he told
yeah. So just know that you were all very near and dear to his heart.
Something else too is he never met a stranger. And
No.
he would, I don't know how many people I met. Walter Reed's a good one, that I would have never known, that, are still my friend today, and all because of Bill.
Here. All right, Linda. You can hit pause. Well, we have something else to you quick.